What's up, everybody? Me and Prem are gonna review Hench Herbivore's new video.
I'm an NHS doctor. I've got 16 years experience in the NHS. I specialise in emergency medicine and trauma.
What the f*** has either of those got to do with nutrition?
And I'm here to talk about nutrition.
I'm a fireman and I'm here to talk about igloos.
He knows a lot more about
That's what I was gonna say.
So recently, Prem from YouTube channel Meat of the Matter had an NHS doctor on to discuss what is the optimal diet for a human.
Ethics
You
t-shirt.
may remember this
Talking matchstick.
from a juvenile video on Spherigist channel where they all made a nuisance of themselves by bringing unsanitary raw meat into a vegan
Unsanitary.
cafe with the express purpose of upsetting everyone in there.
You
When
brought
asked
some
to leave,
nutrition
instead
into
of
that,
walking
like-
out like normal people, they just argued like a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Vegans in November went to a meat eaters restaurant.
Vegans do this all the time, just absolute hypocrisy.
Okay, go out. I call the police. I'm not joking with you, and it's not discussing me. I don't care. Please, you can't squeeze me.
Okay, then why are you so upset?
Go out now.
Your brain is spraying on your diet.
Yeah, go with your
You're mentally ill.
You would have to
Devil's
question the
grace.
common sense of any medical professional willing to be associated with this sort of delinquent. On to the video. I met an NHS doctor with 16 years experience. All views are his own and not intended as medical advice.
Yes,
To make the word
spelling is
advice.
very meaningless.
If you
to
want to be
me.
taken seriously on a matter as complex and serious
It's a
as
man-made
nutrition,
language.
you may like
Who
to
gives
check
a shit?
your basic spelling.
So we're
Yeah,
here
I wish
with
they
a
could
real
actually
doctor.
save him, you know, spelling could
And
actually
he's
save him from
gonna
a heart attack.
Spill
you
the
know.
Right.
beans on his perspective of the optimal human diet.
What's the point? NHS doctors get about 4 hours total training on nutrition their whole careers. I'll do 4 hours.
That doesn't mean that
research
he
a
did
day.
too.
He's passionate about nutrition.
Yeah.
He researches
I'm
it like
an
irrelevant
NHS
what he
doctor. I've got
says.
16 years experience in the NHS.
Not willing to give your name, I see. I don't blame you.
I specialise in emergency
course.
medicine and trauma.
What the f*** has either of those got to do with nutrition?
And I'm here to talk about nutrition.
I'm a fireman and I'm here to talk about igloos.
This space needs some authority. Vegans think that all the authorities are telling them it's healthy for them at all stages of life.
Well, you know, that's simply because the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the British Dietetics Association and the World Health Organization all say
You know about this? They don't say that at all. If you actually read them, all of them say that you're supposed to supplement B12, D, because you can't get them from plants. They admit that it's malnutrition. Yet all of the vegans keep saying, yeah, they approve it, blah, blah, blah. It's absolute bullshit.
Because they know they can't say that, because they're gonna...
that is true. But of course, a simpleton like you knows much better than the top nutritional authorities in the world.
Start by
They
sharing.
just stand behind authority.
Yeah,
they
it's-
can't think for
Yeah,
themselves.
appeal to authority,
the
typical.
medical aspects of the vegan diet.
So ethics aside and environmental issues aside, purely from a nutritional point of view, it is a deficient diet.
No, it's not.
From my perspective, it's
Over
a
50
regime
nutrients.
that will result
It's so
in a
simple.
measurable decline in health.
Is it?
It boasts a total absence of vitamin B12.
What's this? A mirage?
It's going to be extremely deficient in vitamin D and calcium, and I'd be extremely concerned for long-term bone health.
I get more than the recommended amount of vitamin D daily, and also more than the 1,000 milligrams of calcium recommended, which is probably set way too
You
high.
look like you get even more than that. You get some extra steroids.
It's more misinformation. For one thing, calcium is not so easy to get on a vegan diet because the plants have anti-nutrients which bind to the calcium. So no, it doesn't matter what it says on the paper, you do not simply get that much. And vitamin D is an animal hormone. How does he get vitamin D? If it's a supplement, then it's fake. If it's the sun, then you also need a lot of cholesterol to make it. And he lives in the UK. I can't imagine that he gets enough vitamin D. It's just bullshit.
He's living off pills and just destroying his health, is the
Right.
reality.
Yeah.
D, again, are going to be flesh, meat, fish, dairy, milk.
Well, that's where you're wrong, because there's vitamin D in milk, is fortified animal flesh, has a
In
small
raw
amount
milk.
of vitamin D, but if you look at people like Sean Baker, carnivorous eater, eats nothing but meat, his vitamin D is through the floor. Think again, son.
Sean Baker eats mostly cooked muscle meat. It doesn't count as a healthy
It's
diet.
Not an example
Yeah.
to use.
Which is
You need to
associated
eat
with
brain.
prostate cancer, diabetes and heart disease.
But then you've got all the oxalic acid on top of it. So actually, the overall bioavailability of iron from that source spinach is actually really low.
Exactly.
And yet my blood tests always show all my vitamins and minerals at the top of range.
Yeah, because it's testing the chemicals you have in your bloodstream.
Exactly.
Fatty acids, DHA, EPA, and ALA.
Oh, man.
Only omega-3 you can get from plants is ALA.
Wrong, you can get DHA from algae.
DHA, which is one which is absolutely critical to brain development, is absent in the plant kingdom.
Absolutely zero proof what he's
There is
saying
some
about algae.
biochemical conversion from ALA to DHA, but it's a very limited process.
Which is irrelevant if you eat enough ALA. For most people, 1 to 3 tablespoons of flax or chia seeds is enough. 1 to
We
3
can digest
tablespoons.
seeds. Everybody knows
mentioned,
this
they
is
need
bullshit.
to
There's
take
no proof that you
supplements,
can get
but
it from
a lot
flax
of
seeds
what
or
I'm
anything.
looking at shows that they don't even work properly. The supplements, we need it in our food.
Well, that's weird because in studies of people with disease where they're given the supplement, the disease ceases.
And I think
There's no studies like that.
bioavailability. Let's take B12 for example. You have to
Yeah.
question the bioavailability. If you've got a lump of meat and you've got a capsule, clearly you're going to be absorbing a lot more B12 from the product as Mother Nature has intended.
Conjecture, show me the study.
Yeah, and then it might even be toxic, the actual supplement.
Correct.
What? Meat
They don't
urinates
study
aren't
it.
toxic. Wake
Of
up.
course,
I saw
because
a
it would
lady in the
prove
emergency
that meat is way better.
Maybe 10 years ago in North East
And
London.
it would
She was-
end the pharmaceutical trade.
And she tripped and stumbled and she fell onto her outstretched hand. This is a 35-year-old lady.
Yeah.
And she completely shattered her wrist.
What? So you saw one vegan in 10 years that had bone health? Maybe she was just eating vegan chocolates and vegan donuts. If this diet was intrinsically deficient, surely you would have seen thousands of vegans with the same problem by now. Sorry,
Exactly, that's the whole point.
one vegan 10 years ago does not a bad diet make.
And you read in the papers, you know, this thing about raising children as vegans. I don't know if it's possible to do that in a way that's considered to be healthy. But I think there was something in the papers a year or two ago about a Belgian couple that were actually given a suspended jail sentence because their child had actually died.
What about the thousands of omnivorous parents that have their babies taken from them by the authorities for neglect each year?
So what, in your view,
Omnivorous.
is the optimal human diet?
I think that's a really good question, and I think the answer to that lies in our evolutionary history.
No, it doesn't. It relies on looking at the actual science to see what effect foods are having now.
So I think as human beings, as Homo sapiens, our nutritional requirements are fundamentally shaped by our evolution.
Oh God, now he thinks he's an anthropologist as well.
We share a common ancestor with the modern day chimpanzee, and we branched off about 7 million years ago. For that period of time, for millions of years, we were surviving on the plains of Africa, the African savannah, living predominantly on a meat-based diet.
Where we thanks to modern analysis of coprolites, which is fossilized Paleolithic man's stool.
He likes to
we
sound
know
smart
we
and
ate
he's
up
got
to
a
about
team
150 grams
scripting
of
his
plant
every
fibre
word.
per
Yeah,
day.
he's so
Yes, that's
scripted,
right.
it's just
We
cringy
eat
to
about
watch.
90% plants.
Like basically from the moment he started fronting ethics,
Right.
his scripts completely changed.
Yeah. And the video quality, everything.
Human brain, as we evolved from Homo habilis to Homo erectus to primitive hominids with larger brains, that omega-3 was highly instrumental. Where does omega-3 come from? It comes from meat.
No, dum-dum. Animals don't make omega-3. It's in the plants that they eat. Hello?
Yeah, they have to be herbivores.
What the fuck, man?
Just because you keep
It's
saying
animal
something
fat?
doesn't
What
make
is he
it true, you
talking
know?
about?
Even evidence such as, drawings, cave drawings of hominids using tools. Those tools weren't used to catch vegetables. Those tools were used to hunt and to kill.
In order to kill animals, we had to develop tools, which is the cleverest thing that we ever could do at that time. So in order to be able to do that, our brains must have already been advanced before we were eating the meat. Are you keeping up?
Anthropological archaeologists have studied.
I don't believe in evolution anyway, so to me it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, me
You take a
neither.
herbivore and you take a carnivore.
We've always
you
been the
down
same.
And you add acid to it, and you use a device called a mass spectrometer to analyse the the isotopic composition of carbon and nitrogen in that bone. What emerges is a clear pattern. the isotopic composition that has a herbivorous profile. The herbivorous profile has one isotopic composition, and the carnivorous profile has a very distinct isotopic composition.
Except if there's periods of drought, which there often is in that area, it f***s everything up. These tests are now known to be unreliable.
This is uncontestable scientific fact.
How aged does he look? Like, shocking how aged.
Yeah.
Like, if you just scroll back his videos a couple of
3
years
years,
ago,
yeah.
3 years,
It's crazy.
it's shocking.
Probably what constitutes optimal human nutrition.
What you're saying is mere conjecture. Look at the science, son.
He looks like a sort of
Primitive
young
cyborg brain
grandfather.
malfunction.
You cannot derive the same nutrient density from plants as you can from animals.
According to Harvard, vegetables have 16 times the amount of nutrients found in meat. According to the largest ever study on the topic, 16 teams of researchers all around the globe looking at 3,100 different foods.
Yeah,
and
Harvard, the
beverages, found that
same
on
place
average,
they began the
plant
meat
foods
deception
have
by
64
paying these
times the
Harvard
amount of anti-cancer,
professors.
anti-aging, antioxidants
You saw the
relative
seed.
to animal foods. But, you know, who wants to slow the aging process and avoid cancer?
This is
Slow the aging process.
Yeah,
Prime
that's
example.
so just looking at digestive systems, you know, I think that there's an argument that we're herbivorous. We're actually not herbivorous at all. Okay, we've already discussed why we're carnivorous, but if you look at the alimentary system of a Homo sapien, okay, it's a carnivorous alimentary system. It's a short gut.
Long gut.
We've got a small cecum.
It's an appendix.
It's an appendix. You know, so the gastric parietal cells of the stomach secrete something called intrinsic factor. That intrinsic factor binds to B12, and that intrinsic factor B12 complex is absorbed in the terminal ileum. So our guts are processed and evolved to absorb B12. Where does B12 come from? It comes from meat.
Oh no, you silly goose. B12 may be found in meat, but it's produced by microbes found in soil and water.
Oh bullshit, I debunked it already, I don't even want to get into it.
No vegans say eat the dirt.
We even have
We're just
enzymes
trying
to
make
digest
your
cholesterol.
untenable
Cholesterol is
position
only found in
tenable.
So
animals.
we're not herbivorous. You know, we don't.
Of course,
have multiple
we are carnivores.
compartments of the
Just
stomach and a rumen.
sensical.
Many herbivores have just one stomach. Don't confuse ruminants with all herbivores, or you make yourself look very, very stupid.
The digestive system is a
Can't
herbivore.
say anything
It's
to
an extremely
Yeah,
long
no.
digestive system. It's lined with trillions of cellulase producing bacteria. Cellulase being the enzyme that breaks down cellulose, which is the predominant polysaccharide in plants. We don't possess those cellulase producing bacteria.
Luckily, we can just chew food up, freeing up the nutrients, which is why all my nutrients test at the top of range.
My experience is it in fact is,
Until he drops down, you know.
You know, apparently
Dead.
50% of our cells are made of cholesterol.
It's part of the cell, you know. It's
Yeah,
part of
the
the forms
membrane,
part of the
yeah.
phospholipids. It's absolutely essential,
Yeah.
and you'd simply die without it.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to finish the video. If we need to ingest cholesterol to form the membranes of all of our cell walls in our body, how the am I standing here talking now? People at home, please don't listen to these couple of dumb Now click on this video now, or I'll consider you as clever as Dumb and Dumber.
Just look at the doctor,
Right.
and then look at him. I think they're around the same age.
Oh.
I mean, it's like,
It says it all then.
and he's actually a bodybuilder as well. This guy, he's huge. Like, if people thought he's maybe like overweight, no, he's pure muscle. The guy.
Yeah, without steroids and everything. Hench Herbivore uses steroids, this has been proven. There's a video of his belly button popping out and everything. He looks pretty small for somebody who uses steroids. Anybody who uses steroids and eats any kind of animal products, he looks way bigger than any vegan who uses this. It's just the way he looks already is a joke. As always, there's over 50 nutrients you can get from plants. I just want to point that out because a lot of vegans don't understand this, and Hench Herbivore completely ignores it. And Vandalism of Veganism also made a video about him, and it kind of looks like he possibly already had a stroke because of one of the sides of his face, or he's definitely heading there. Just eating a lot of sugar, the vegetable oils and steroids, it can only lead to a stroke or heart disease. It's inevitable.
Just look at him. Like, if you're gonna follow that guy, then good luck.
Yeah,
you know?
do you want to look like that at that age? Nobody does. And he believes that being strong is healthy. It's just a modern mindset. It's nothing to do with health. Alright, thank you for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys.